It was freezing that morning in Toronto, the kind of cold that bit through gloves and made your breath feel like smoke. Daniel Harper, owner of Harper's Auto Repair, stood at the entrance of his shop, sipping stale coffee and staring at the near-empty parking lot. For the third straight week, business had been painfully slow. He was behind on rent, his electricity bill was due, and his 2 employees had already left for better-paying work. The city felt too big, too fast, and too unforgiving. Daniel was a good mechanic, but he wasn't sure how much longer he could hold on. Just as he turned to head back inside, something across the street caught his eye. A man, dirty and hunched over, was digging through a trash can behind the coffee shop. His clothes were torn, his face half covered by a beanie, and his shoes barely held together. Most people would have looked away, but something in Daniel's gut tugged at him. He didn't know why, but he walked across the street. "Hey," Daniel called out. The man flinched and took a step back, clearly not expecting kindness. "You hungry?" Daniel held out the extra egg sandwich he hadn't touched. The man looked at him with caution, then nodded. "Yeah, thanks." They sat on the curb, Daniel shivering despite his jacket, and the man, surprisingly composed, devoured the sandwich like he hadn't eaten in days. "Name's Mark," the man said eventually. "Used to be a mechanic. Before everything fell apart." That was all he offered. But it was enough. Daniel, desperate for help but also feeling something deep stir inside him, maybe it was pity, maybe hope, made a decision he never thought he would. "You want a job? I can't pay much, and the heat's out in the back office. But I could use a hand." Mark looked up, stunned. His eyes welled up for a second before he quickly blinked it away. "You serious?" "Yeah, just show up tomorrow. Early." The next day, Mark arrived before sunrise. He worked with his head down, moved like he knew every bolt and wrench, and fixed an old Civic's transmission in half the time Daniel expected. By the end of the first week, Daniel realized Mark wasn't just helpful, he was gifted. Customers slowly returned as word spread. Harper's Auto Shop had someone who could fix anything, and fix it fast. But it wasn't just about repairs. Mark started bringing coffee to Daniel every morning. They joked about old cars, hockey teams, and shared music from their younger days. Mark never talked about his past, but Daniel could tell he carried pain. He'd catch him staring into the distance during quiet moments, eyes haunted. One stormy evening, a luxury SUV pulled into the shop. A well-dressed woman stepped out, her eyes scanning the shop before they froze on Mark. Her face turned pale. "Mark," she whispered. Mark froze, then slowly turned. "Lena." Daniel watched, confused. Tears streamed down the woman's face. "They told me you were gone. After you left the hospital. I searched everywhere. I called the shelters. I called everyone." Mark's hands trembled. "I didn't want you to see me like that. After the accident, after Dad died, I couldn't face anyone. I lost everything." She walked toward him slowly. "You didn't lose me. You're my brother. I never stopped looking." Daniel stepped back, heart pounding, realizing he had stumbled onto something far bigger than he imagined. Mark broke down, collapsing into her arms, sobbing. That night, Daniel closed the shop early and let them talk in private. The next morning, Mark didn't show up. Daniel felt a pang of worry but told himself it was okay. A week passed. Then 2. He thought maybe Mark had chosen a different path, and maybe that was for the best. Then one morning, a black sedan pulled up, and Mark stepped out. Clean-shaven, dressed sharp, standing beside his sister. "I didn't forget," he said, smiling. "I just needed to heal. But I came back, and I want to invest in this shop." Daniel stared in disbelief. "You what?" Mark laughed. "I want to partner with you. My sister helped me find myself again. You gave me a second chance when I was worth nothing. This place, it gave me purpose." With Mark's help, Harper's Auto became one of the busiest independent garages in the city. They hired more staff, started training programs for other homeless veterans, and even partnered with a shelter to offer jobs and training. Daniel often looked back at that cold morning outside the coffee shop and thought how close he was to walking away. But he didn't. And because of that, something unbelievable happened, not just to his shop, but to his heart. The lesson was clear and powerful. Sometimes the people we pass by every day, the ones we ignore or fear, carry untold stories, hidden skills, and open hearts just waiting for someone to believe in them. And sometimes, when you give someone a second chance, they give you back your life.